Internet. So we have tens of thousands of Americans who live here, some of whom are retired here, some are in business, some are here in other capacities, and all of them, I think, are very interested in voting in this election. So for Americans, what they have to do is, first they must register with their locality in the United States. So depending on what state they're from, they have to make sure that their name is on the voting rolls, on the list of voters. Once they do that, they then receive, either electronically or through the mail, a ballot. Then they fill that out either online or by hand, seal it, and they send it back to their local election commission, which then tallies it or adds it up and will declare the results on the evening of November 8th. And so by nighttime on November 8th, we will probably know the results of most of our elections. I suspect probably the election for president as well. That will be the morning of November 9th here in Thailand.
Like why the American citizens feel very interested in this election?
Yes, well, I think Americans know that this is an important election because we have had a president now for 8 years, and constitutionally he must leave office. So whoever becomes president in this election will have a strong impact on America's direction in the world and on the policies domestically that will determine our economy, our society. So Americans know that their vote will count for a great deal in determining the election or the direction of the United States. Also, it's not just the president who is up for election. There are over 500 members of both the House and the Senate combined who are up for election. You have governors and local officials. Thousands and thousands of officials are up for election, and Americans want to make sure that their vote counts for all levels of the United States government.
So how much do the American citizens feel important, feel very interested in both candidates from the Republican and Democrats?
I think they feel very interested, and those in Thailand who are interested in following the election, there's much information out there. We have had now over a year of very intensive conversations, debates, even arguments. It can get emotional sometimes, politics, about every issue, from gun control to the economy, to jobs, to social issues, political issues. And the way we work through our democracy in America, which is a unique form of democracy and very old, over 2 centuries old, is we debate these issues intensively at all levels, the neighborhood level, the local, state level, and the national level. And Americans like to get involved. They like to talk to their neighbors. They like to participate in debates. They like to follow the words of the candidates because they know that it matters what happens on November 8th. They know that it matters for themselves and for their families and for their states and the United States as a whole who is elected. And so for that reason, people can get very passionate about it. But in the end, when a president is elected and declared, and our Congress is elected, governors and so forth, Americans will set aside politics and will get behind the new government, and they will, in 4 years, will have a chance again to go back and do it all over again.
Election result.
Mm-hmm.
How will the U.S. election result to the U.S. direction, and especially in foreign policies?
Right. Well, the results, as I said, will be known, I think, very quickly to everybody. And then there is a period between November 9th, the day after our election, and January 20th of 2017, when a new president will take the oath of office at noon at the Capitol building. And that transition period is the period during which the new president and his or her team will work out the precise plans for their initial positions on issues, regardless of who is elected president of the United States, whether it is Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. I believe that our new president will continue the very strong policy of the current administration to put a great deal of emphasis on Asia and in particular on ASEAN, on Southeast Asia. Thailand sits at the center of ASEAN. You are a founding member of ASEAN, the second strongest economy of the 10 countries. We have many, many companies who are here and who work, who have 250,000 Thai employees. And we have many other interests here: security, law enforcement. We have a deep and strong health relationship. Thai researchers, American doctors working together on AIDS, on malaria, on every other disease. All of that is so important that whoever is president of the United States will continue the policy of a strong emphasis on this relationship and in particular on the region. Very important, and Americans know that. For the world, that is for the world to judge. America has become a very important country, I think, globally, for many reasons: our economic power, our military power, even, I suppose, our cultural influence and so forth. And so that is why I think that people around the world are interested in what happens, because they believe that to some extent, it matters to them too. We welcome that interest by the world in our democracy, in our system, in our policies. We know that people around the world care about what happens in America. It is the job of people like me as an ambassador to the Kingdom of Thailand to make sure that Americans understand, Washington understands, our new government understands why we must continue to deepen and strengthen our partnership, our relationship, our alliance.